Hello, everybody. Welcome to this channel. Today, I'm going to be talking about the changes that are coming to the SNAP benefits program. Some of these people make some really, really good points. I may not show you the full video. I may show you snippets because some of the stuff does tend to be rambling while the other ones get straight to the point. And I want to get straight to the point.
In all the videos that I am seeing that are going viral, it is in the pastry aisles of like the bakery or at the register where people are trying to purchase candy. Most of the carts, 90% of the food is processed, which means we have a larger issue. People don't know how to cook. It's not that the federal government or the government is now making it very restrictive for people not to have a certain experience in life. And that's, the cake, cookies, and pies. It's the fact that people don't know how to gather the ingredients to make it. And then going back to the processed food, as I mentioned, there's no reason why you have benefits and there is no milk or water in your cart. Milk or water in your cart. Most of the videos is just that. And this is just the beginning.
I'm going to call it like I see it. That woman is absolutely right. What I see on social media a lot is SNAP benefits junk food hauls. And I see it as a way to rage bait some people. But if you're rage baiting and you're showing all of this, it is actually having the effect that you want it to have, probably with undesired consequences. Now, am I glad that people expose themselves? Absolutely. I knew that it was happening for a very long time. And I also didn't think that it was fair. So when I see these people with SNAP, EBT, junk food hauls, it's a little irritating. In addition to that, if you want to make a cake, nobody's telling you that you can't buy the right ingredients for these cakes. What they're saying is you can't get one made already.
I'm curious to find out how you guys feel about the possible changes to the SNAP benefits. What I'm referring to is no longer covering sodas, candy, and things like that. I go to the store and I ended up behind a woman that had 2 baskets full running over of groceries. Now we budget $300 every 2 weeks for a family of 5, and we have to limit ourselves, to be able to stay within that budget. Every once in a while, I'll go over a little bit, but that's very seldom. So I look at this lady's cart after she gets done. I don't know how much the amount was, but I know she paid with her SNAP benefits. In this lady's cart was at least 5 to 6 gallons of juice. There was like 6 or 8 12-packs of different sodas, tons of bags of chips, candies, snacks, just stuff like that. And I honestly was irritated. I was irritated because, for one, I think our system is totally broken. Now, trust me, I totally get it and understand that there are people out there that really, that's the only way that they're able to pay for food is, with the SNAP. Absolutely. I understand that. But when you see something like that, that's hard to swallow. I just think our system is broken. I think it's been broken for a long time. I just really feel like it should be your basic needs, your meat, your dairy, stuff like that. I don't think they should be able to buy this excessive amount of like junk food. I don't know. Am I the only one that feels like this?
Absolutely not, ma'am. You are not the only one that feels like this. I think for so long, people didn't want to say anything, but they were thinking it. For so long, people were feeling irritated by the fact that we see these people coming out of Walmart, out of the grocery stores with baskets full of junk food. And us taxpayers, the ones that work hard, we have to be in a budget. We have to go get essentials, right? We're restricted, but we're the ones funding their junk food hauls. So do I think you're wrong? Absolutely not. I also like the fact that this woman here came from a place of compassion where she says, I understand that these programs are there to assist people, right? But these are like domestic violence survivors. These are people that were SA'd. These are people that were victims of another crime and they're trying to get back on their feet. This program shouldn't be giving you diabetes and then giving you access to doctors because of your diabetes. I'll talk about that later. She's limited to the essentials because she's feeding her family and she watches somebody else walk out with a junk food haul. That's got to be irritating. Where are the basic things? Where is the produce that is meant to hold you over? The beans, the rice, the ground beef, the chicken. Where is all of that at? Why are you walking out with more junk food than actual preparation food?
Did anybody see this yet? Look at this.
Department has encouraged states to think differently and creatively about how to solve the many health issues facing Americans. One way is by not allowing taxpayer-funded benefits to be used to purchase unhealthy items like soda, candy, and other junk food. The number one purchase by SNAP recipients is sugary drinks.
So this is a disclaimer. This is my opinion. And I agree with the statement. Like, if you're receiving any type of benefits, yeah, you shouldn't be spending it on sugary food. Like, candy, cupcakes, soda. Like, no, that's not really necessary. I would definitely spend, if I had benefits, I would have spent it on quality food. Like, I would have been getting the best chicken, the best
milk, the best orange juice. But what do you think? Am I bugging?
The amount of obese people in this country, SNAP benefits should ban junk foods, right? The amount of people suffering from some form of diabetes, SNAP benefits should ban junk food. The Black community, we should not be mad about this. We should not be upset about this. We are not prioritizing dental health in this country. We're talking about why are Black boys out here tripping? How many Black boys have bad dental health? How many Black boys are receiving their first dental procedures when they get incarcerated?
Wow. She brings up a great point here, and I never thought about it. And to be completely honest with you, I am not of the Black community, but this is also very prevalent in the Latino community, which I am. App in Appalachia, same thing. She just is attributed to her community because this is what she has seen. However, this could be very true for almost any community. Why should we be paying for people to end up with diabetes? Why should we be paying for people to end up with dental decay that they don't even get taken care of until they go into prison? Prevention is actually the best way to go about this. Being proactive instead of reactive is actually cheaper. And I can say that about almost any single industry out here. Being proactive, taking care of your health, making sure that you have good teeth, and you're not allowing your teeth to end up in tooth decay because of the amount of sugar that you're ingesting is actually better than being reactive, which means that you're going to have all these cavities filled. You're going to have all of this dental work done. That's going to cost the taxpayers because at the end of the day, you're never going to be able to afford to live on your own. We have made a community of people that, and I'm not saying community by saying Black community, I'm saying community in general as the people that are SNAP recipients. That community doesn't want to be self-sustaining. They have grown accustomed to this. They feel entitled. They feel like this is their right. There's no shame in getting SNAP benefits anymore. And I don't believe that there should be shame. However, there should be a little level of discernment in saying, hey, maybe I should be careful with these benefits because they're not guaranteed. It's not an entitlement. It is actually a system that exists in order to assist me.
Fuck what you feel like you deserve and don't deserve. Once your weight becomes someone else's problem, once your care becomes someone else's problem because you simply can't do it because you literally cannot walk from the toilet to your bed, right, without passing out, that's when it becomes a public health concern, okay? That's when it becomes a public health concern, right? Junk food, sugars, carbs, they're becoming a public health concern, right? It's negatively affecting the American population. We're not making that a priority. People are literally suffering from illnesses and diseases because of their diets. Y'all are not taking it serious enough. And y'all do not care until y'all are laying in a hospital bed, until y'all are dependent of care, right? That's when y'all are like, okay, I'm going to start eating healthy. I'm going to stop drinking liquor. I'm going to stop eating sugars.
Now, this young lady is expressing herself, and it sounds like maybe she has some personal experience with this. And it sounds like maybe this is hitting a little too close to home for her, but she makes a really good point. Now, I'm not saying that somebody became obese off of SNAP benefits. I'm not saying that at all. They could have become obese on their own doing, their own money. However, now that they're disabled in a care facility funded by the taxpayers, it is true that why are we allowing these people to order hot wings and pizza? I don't even get to order hot wings and pizza. Now, let me rephrase that. I don't want to order hot wings and pizza all the time. These junk foods that people eat are very addicting. So to hear that somebody else has to now wipe your behind because you can't do it because you're so large is extremely disturbing. And you know what? The thought entered my mind before. If you are so obese to the point where you can't take care of yourself, then you shouldn't have access to all those sugary foods.
Make it make sense.
So I just heard that food stamp recipients are getting cut off from buying sugary drinks, junk food, maybe even crab legs. The question is, does it matter? And it does, because diet is directly correlated to your health. Sodas, sugary drinks, snacks, those are the things that lead to type 2 diabetes and other illnesses. Those are the things that lead to obesity. Obesity can lead to all types of things.
When people do not have to suffer the ramifications of their bad eating habits, how can you expect them to know the consequences can result in severe loss of income, severe loss of mobility? How do you expect these people to do anything outside of sitting at home and eating once they become too obese? What this woman is saying right here, what she's saying, diet equals health. I don't think it's diet. Let's not call it diet. So I understand what she's saying, and I think she did a great job. I'm not here to rag on her. I think she has some really good, valid points. But I'm going to say it's lifestyle equals health. And I think that mentality has to shift because people think of a diet and they think, I just have to be on this diet for 4 weeks. That's it. No, you have to be on this diet forever. And that means that it's a lifestyle change. You have to change your mentality and the way that you're going about eating, the way that you store your food. The foods that you store make a huge difference because then you have access to those things. But I don't know where we went wrong, where we thought it is a necessary thing to eat cookies and Hostess ho-ho cakes and a bunch of chips every single time we eat a sandwich.
And if you qualify for food stamps, EBT, SNAP, whatever you call it, that means you qualify for Medicaid, which means you are low income. And if you are low income, you cannot afford top tier insurance. You will be on a Medicaid managed plan, which means you should not be buying a bunch of luxury items that the government or the taxpayers are paying for. And these are the people complaining that are in nursing homes and that need home care, that Medicaid is going to cut them off. Again, you're relying too heavily on the government. I get it. Life is hard, but you're making your life harder.
Exactly. Not only are we funding your lifestyle with bad choices in food, now we're having to fund your lifestyle in the medical care that you need because there's a bunch of other diseases that are caused by bad choices in food.
Have you seen the latest changes to the USDA? So there's reform happening to increase the nutrition in the foods that are offered through the SNAP program. So the USDA is empowering states with greater flexibility to manage their programs by approving SNAP food restriction waivers that restrict the purchase of non-nutritious items like soda and candy. These waivers are meant to ensure that taxpayer dollars improve the nutritious options and health outcomes within SNAP. So right now, the states that have waivers approved for 2026 are Arkansas, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Nebraska, and Utah. And the new additions are West Virginia, Florida, Colorado, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Texas. So the restrictions are a little bit different in each state. So for example, Texas is prohibiting SNAP purchases of candy, drinks containing artificial sweeteners or that have over 5 grams of added sugar effective April of 2026. In Florida, they're banning sugary snacks and drinks like soda and candy starting in January. Nebraska will disallow SNAP fund purchases for sugar-laden sodas and energy drinks starting January 1st. Now, they've also put restriction on school-served meals. It limits the added sugars in school lunches and breakfasts starting this school year with full compliance by 2027 in the fall. So from July 1st, 2025, breakfast cereals can only contain no more than 6 grams of added sugar per dry ounce, and yogurt cannot exceed 2 grams of added sugar per ounce. And then by that 2027-2028 school year, the added sugars have to make up less than 10% of the total calories per week in these school meals. The WIC packages already align with this, and the USDA guidelines already permit small amounts of sugar in canned vegetables, like for example, sweet peas, when it's necessary for processing. So what are your thoughts on these new changes with SNAP and the USDA? It's not affecting all states. I don't know which states are allowed to do these waivers. Will it affect you? Is limiting sugar a good thing overall, knowing what we know about what sugar does to the body?
So some states have eliminated junk food snacks from certain EBT like benefits. So if people don't know, I hope you know by now. You usually go to the checkout, and that's when you see, what's off limits. Now, typically, you would be able to get any food item with your EBT card that is cold. Like you can't get hot foods, which is just so pathetic because like people who are on EBT could probably benefit from having a hot food. Like you couldn't go inside of Walmart and get a hot rotisserie chicken. You would have to get one in the cold aisle. Like you would have to, these people already don't have as much money. Now they got to warm up their food. Hopefully they have a home, and I don't even know if like people who are homeless and stuff even get EBT because you got to go through like these, you have to like prove that you're, you live somewhere. You got to get the mail. It's all this stuff that they require of you. But anyway, imagine not being able to like buy a soda, buy a Snickers.
All right, I'm not going to let her finish because she's just explaining the same thing over and over again that we've already seen, which is like, she's going through these scenarios that she's creating in her head. Number one, yes, homeless people can apply for SNAP benefits. I see it all the time. On top of that, they are allowed to use their SNAP benefits at restaurants. That's why it says EBT accepted. Now, you have to go in and swipe your EBT card first, and then they'll give you the food because I assume there's been too many times when they've ordered the food and there was no funds left in the SNAP card. I'm not really sure why these rules were created that way, or maybe that's just the way their program runs. And those are the stipulations that they agreed upon as a restaurant. And I don't blame the owners. However, what I want you to see is I want you to see this comment right here by Luke. Luke says, it's all about power and control. People want to feel superior to others. If someone gets $200 to spend on food, I don't give a damn what they spend it on. I don't care if it's hot chicken or a cold soda. The only people who care are bullies. Absolutely not, Luke. Absolutely not. People like Luke like to come on here and try to shame the taxpayer who is carrying the burden of allowing these systems to thrive. When a taxpayer has to use their money to pay rent, to get the basic essentials at home, and can't afford to go buy the things that these people are hauling away, shopping carts full of junk food, I understand the frustration, Luke.
It's honestly so sad to see people cheer on this whole only allowed to buy certain things with SNAP benefits because, I mean, I get it. People are like, oh, well, yeah, kids should be in, healthy food. Yeah. But what about people who live in food deserts? What about people who live in neighborhoods where the gas station up the street is the only place, like it's the only place they can go and get food because they either don't have transportation to the grocery store or it's just not a grocery store that is in a reasonable range to go to. Like, what about that? And then what about the parents who leave their kids at home because they're working to afford all these high ass, crazy ass bills, and they leave like little microwavables and stuff like that so the kid can eat. Like, what about these dang on teenagers who be stuck watching their kid, they brothers and sisters, like.
So let me ask this woman a question, because she's talking about people that live in food deserts, and the only thing that they can do is survive off junk food. You cannot survive off junk food, ma'am. What they're talking about is junk food, okay? Nobody said you can't buy sandwiches. Nobody said you can't buy cereal, milk. I can go down to the local 7-Eleven right now, and they have cereal, milk, they have pasta. They may not have meats, but what they're talking about is processed junk food. All of these Twinkies, all these Doritos. This woman is irritating. And like the comment said, they're going to have to figure it out. Somebody else said, it's a blessing to just get EBT anyways. So they have to find a way, for real. I completely agree with that person. Like, what are you complaining about? What are you saying here?
Everyone has an opinion. Here's mine. So many people are in an upheaval over Donald Trump's initiative to cut SNAP benefits and reduce your ability to buy junk food with them, and also any beverage that has less than 50% of natural juice in it. Oh, man. Let me let you know this. Don't you guys understand that it is a privilege for you to receive SNAP benefits?
Exactly. If this system did not exist, what were you going to do, Monica, with the 3 kids at home? I understand that not every single person that is on SNAP benefits is at home doing absolutely nothing. I get it. There's some people on SNAP benefits that are working in their taxpayers. I get that. What I'm talking about is the people that are sitting at home doing absolutely nothing, laying on their backs and having more kids. Those are the people that feel so entitled to this. But what would Monica do with her 3 children if there was no SNAP benefit system? Please tell me. Somebody please tell me. Use it, but don't abuse it. There is a huge difference. You getting the basic essentials to survive on my taxpayer money and the other people's taxpayer money, fine. As a matter of fact, if you are a taxpayer and you are on SNAP benefits, you should be more angry that these people that don't do anything at all to contribute to society are actually getting the same benefits as you. I don't know what it's like to be on SNAP benefits. I have never been on SNAP benefits. And I thank the universe every single day for giving me the opportunity to be able to contribute. I'm a taxpayer. My burden is to help you. But do me a favor, stop abusing the system. Stop being entitled.
A lot of you seem so entitled. You think that it's like your God-given right because you exist. You're allowed to be recipients of other people's money, because that's essentially what you are. Everyone else in America has to go to work, break their back, and pay taxes. That means that's money that's coming out of our check that we never eat. We earned the money, but we never even get to see it. Now, this money, of course, goes to pay for other things other than just your poor ass food. However, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but you are a bunch of entitled, spoiled brats. And you need to understand, we, the American people, are tired. Yes, we are tired of you low Neanderthal style people, you low vibrational, low life people. Listen, I understand about food deserts and people who living in certain communities where going to a grocery store and being able to receive fresh produce may be a challenge. But I would implore you, is your health not worth you getting on the bus, catching an Uber, getting in your car, going the extra mile to make sure that you have the best nutrients, the best ingredients for your family?
Exactly. So to that woman that was complaining about how like there's food deserts out here, yes, again, those food deserts, even in those food deserts, getting a sandwich exists. Now, do I agree with the whole thing? No. I think that if you want to go buy a sandwich at Subway with your SNAP benefits card because you want your children to experience that, I think that's fine. I also think that it's okay to allow these children to experience that once in a while, but it shouldn't be the majority of your budget, and it shouldn't be something you feel entitled to either. If this man here is saying that he's working hard, what makes you so entitled to having more access to junk food than this man? I literally wonder how people justify the buying of junk food with SNAP benefits. If you are on SNAP benefits and you are a working individual, then use your SNAP benefits for the basic nutrition and use your money, the leftover money that you may have, to buy junk food. Otherwise, stop the complaining. What is all this complaining about? I don't understand it. It's frustrating. It's annoying. Taxpayers are fed up. They are fed up of having to fund this program. Junk food on taxpayer-funded SNAP is not an entitlement. Not only are we having to fund nutrition program, which has completely lost its cause, now we have to fund the medical needs of the person who is consuming all of this junk food, resulting in diabetes, high blood pressure, dental decay. All of these things are an outcome of not being healthy. These are not natural things that happen if you eat a balanced diet. Monica is buying junk food. She's overweight. Her children are obese. And now not only are we funding Monica to stay at home because she's exempt from having to work because she has a young child, now we're funding Monica, her children, and their medical needs because she's making bad decisions, not just for herself, but for her children. That's child neglect. I don't care how you'll look at it. Having your children consuming sugar all day in junk food is child neglect. How does your child not know what a vegetable is? But also, if you live in a food desert, you have to ask yourself why. Are you in an area where stores have shut down due to society's bad behavior? Are you in an area where there was a grocery store, but because of all the stealing and all of the stuff that was happening, all the crime, did they have to leave your area? Who do you have to blame for that? Is it the government or your community? You need to raise your kids to be respectful, eat well, and to understand that SNAP benefits is a privilege. Because what were y'all going to do if there was no such program? Honestly, I really question this. What would happen if tomorrow, if the United States collapses and there is no more programs? What are you going to do? The taxpayers are tired. We are tired of having to see this on social media. And then the audacity of these overweight women going into stores and doing a SNAP benefits junk food haul. They have no shame. And I'm not saying the SNAP benefits recipients need to be ashamed into a corner, not at all. But these women that I see on these videos, because it's always women. I never see a man doing this. I don't know if men just hide it better. I don't really know if it's happening, or I don't know if their pride just doesn't allow them to share these kind of things, but it's always women. It's always obese, overweight women. Minority women, always. I don't know what it is about the algorithm that pushes out those videos and it makes them go viral. And I'm not saying they're the only ones doing it. I think white women do it too, but they're the ones that are going viral for this. Anyways, that's going to be it for today's commentary. If you want to have conversations around people who are center leaning without the extreme left or the extreme right views, then please consider subscribing and like this video.